right, we are here with the head coach of the Waskom Wildcats, Coach Wade Lawson. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I cannot complain. I cannot complain. Let's talk a little bit about last year. Your first year at Waskom, a 10-3 record, made it to the regional semis, had a really good season, and with you could do it winning always, right? You scored a lot of points in some games, won some close defensive battles there. So talk to me a little bit about last season.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year, kind of our motto last year to start the year was, turn the lights back on, and I really think we did that here. Um, our 2024 group of kids really bought into what we were selling, and we were able to get things turned back around. We lost several close ball games during the regular season, but those were all learning opportunities for us, and it's something that now going into this year we look back on and we go, okay, we lost a 21-20 game to Garrison to start the year. We lost on a Hail Mary at the end of the game to Chevyville, and if not, we go undefeated. So the margin of victory or defeat can be so small sometimes, and sometimes you have to experience that to understand it. And so that's something that we've been very attentive of going into this off season, starting this year. We're paying attention to the small details because those will win or lose you big ball games, and then you turn around, you look at the game we lost in the playoffs. Turned the ball over three times in the second half. Can't do that against good teams. So those are all things that we're learning from and moving forward. We don't want to make those mistakes again.
Well, and like we mentioned, last year was your first year at Waskom. So now that you've going into your or you've been through your second off season and going into your second year here, what's been the biggest difference from that first year when you arrived last January to now in August this year?
Well, I answered this question the other day to somebody else. To me, the biggest difference is that there is no difference. For our kids, they know me now. I know them. They're my team and I'm their coach. And that's how it is. They know that they can trust me. There's a level of respect between me and them and I. There's no filling out process. They know what they're going to get from me. I know what I expect from them, and now it's just kind of hitting the ground running. I told my wife last night, to me, looking at us, we just look like a mature football team. We look old. We're doing things the right way. I turn on tape and look at practice from the day before, and I see us just so much further along than we were day two last year, and that's what you really want to see.
Yeah, and like you said, the consistency, the familiarity with already knowing, hey, this is my coach going into it. We don't have to worry about learning a new scheme, learning a new anything. It's
Right,
hitting the ground running and just
right,
now you're
exactly,
now you're reacting, not learning, and that's the big
exactly.
thing. So you got six starters coming back on offense, six starters coming back on defense from, like we said, a regional semifinalist team. What are your expectations this year, and kind of what are you looking forward to the most?
Well, for us, I want to see us improve each day. I think, we no doubt about it, we have some very lofty goals. I mean, when we finish this thing, we're like everybody. We want to finish it at AT&T Stadium. I mean that's our goal. Now, we're not going to get there today at practice. That's unrealistic. But we have to lay a foundation every day in order to get there. And for our kids, that's going to start with, like I said, with winning the first day of pads today. Going into next week, going into our scrimmage of, accomplishing the things that we need when we walk out week one against Garrison, winning that football game, and then just building them on top of each other. Trying to repeat and win a district championship again. All those things. So I mean, no doubt about it. Our goal is to improve day by day, because you can't get to where you want to get to if you don't do that. Like I said earlier, our kind of our rallying cry last year was turn the lights back on. This year to me a little bit of, and I felt like last year we kind of had to prove some people wrong. People we're coming off a 3-7 year. I was coming off a disappointing year as a head coach at my previous school, and we kind of had to prove some people wrong. Well, this year, we're highly ranked, a lot of anticipation. So let's go prove them right. That's what people think about us. Let's go prove them right. But with that, comes a lot of I'm not going to say pressure, but responsibility. To show up every day, to take care of what we got to take care of out here on the field, take care of what we got to take care of in the classroom. On and off the field, away from here. So. And all that just goes into being a mature young man and mature football team.
I love that. We're not going to call it pressure or responsibility. I love that. I'm going to steal
Exactly.
that from you. All right. I like that. Hey, one last thing I want to ask you before I let you get out of here. What's the community support been like? Obviously, Waskom has a proud football tradition and a proud football program. So what's the community support been like over there in Waskom?
It's unbelievable. First day of practice out here, I bet we had 40 or 50 parents out here and fans and just people around the community just sitting here watching practice. They love our kids so much, and it's unlike anything I believe I've ever seen. But the thing about it is our kids know that. They know that. They'll what'll be funny is if one of them doesn't do what they need to do at practice, they'll hear it from them. They don't even have to hear it from the coaches. They'll hear it from their uncles or their dads or whoever their little league coach that's here. They'll hey man, you better pick it up. And it's great. And our kids, yes sir. But like I said, just what this community what it does for our kids here, and the responsibility, like I said, that goes back to that, what I was talking about earlier, the responsibility that our kids have to give that back. And because love is a two-way street, it doesn't just go one way. So but that's what makes small town East Texas football. That's what makes it special. You can write books about it. You can make movies about it, but until you live it every day, you never understand it. And I'm just very grateful that to get to be here, to get to experience it with them, and try to make some special memories with this group in 25, and hopefully like I said, good Lord will bless us with good health throughout the season, and we'll get better each day, and we'll see how far that takes us.
Yeah, that's awesome. It makes your job a little easier too when you see somebody messing up and you don't have to say anything. His uncle or somebody says something. That's a
Nobody got to say dad or uncle, grandpa, somebody's getting them.
Somebody's watching. All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us this morning, and best of luck to the Wildcats this season. And we'll talk to you down the road.
Hey, thank you for having me.